Okay, so it's like 5 after 6. I'm doing something different though today because Max is outside. And so I don't know. We'll see what happens. See if he comes to the door, if he just sits there and relaxes, or he jumps up and keeps barking. That's why he ran outside. He wanted to bark at something. I have no idea what. But the it's super, super foggy. And I don't even know how far Calgary is from here. I would think it's on the other side because we're by Vancouver. But anyways, the storms in Calgary, um, these hailstorms are so ridiculous. I mean, the airport ceiling roof thing started collapsing, was falling down. People in the airport. This lady showed her house and her neighbor's house, and these things hit and they chunk out the siding. So we got siding, like I don't even know how to. It's like chunks of the siding everywhere, but like how's it busting the siding like that? Like it's strange. You would think that the siding would be able to handle. I don't know. The whole thing's so strange. But there's been so many of these different hailstorms because these hails that was looking like it wasn't even as big as some of these ones I've seen. Some of these hails bust through windshields, wreck cars. Like it's mental. Like to me, it's like that we're just under this total assault, and then they tell us it's somebody else, but they're beefing this stuff up. They're doing this. And so it's totally foggy here, which yesterday it was supposed to be sunny all day, but then it was this weird cloudy overcast until way later in the afternoon. I went and checked on my phone too, and it was saying, oh, it's clear. It's like, well, I guess you're not looking outside. And so it was not clear because I was like, is it going to rain? But there's not rain forecast. And supposedly there's some days, a couple of days left to be clear. But our temperature, it looks like it's already dropping down. But it already, to me, it was, because my yard is so full of trees. It definitely has not been, it really was like 2 weeks of summer. So weird. And we're going to go right back. Like, it's like, fuck. I was talking to my son-in-law about doing the roof on that other building because there's no way it's going to make it through another winter. And then I need to start getting wood. It's like you only have like a few weeks to start preparing for these long-ass winters they put us through. It's like, oh my God, oh, Jesus Christ. I'm just, I really want to shift. Um, and I don't know what all with the money thing. Some of the people I saw saying who's been talking about it, they said it's gone into this like stall. But just don't forget, every stall, everything is for a purpose. It's not because it's stopping. It's to show more, bring more, get more attention, whatever it is. And it kind of, to me, it's sometimes it feels like it's like because I told my kids, of course, well, be ready, you know, get your cards and stuff made at work, you know, get some food and stuff, and the and then nothing happens, and so it kind of makes me feel like it's it's kind of for this benefit of some of these people. We're not gonna know everybody's soul things until after like their lessons and stuff, and we're still not even gonna know everybody's. But it seems like that there is this part of, um, I don't know, not listening, not paying attention, or something. There's part of that is going to really be a gobsmack to a lot of people. So it's kind of like that tension building up, which, this morning I got a total stomach flu. I don't even know what from. Could be anything I ate. And you start going back over the stuff that you ate. It's like, okay, I made, I had made some beans from scratch, the hard beans, which, they could still do stuff to those, but I make them often, but still everything that comes from any of their stuff, any sources, it seems like it's risky. So, man, I'm super wheezy. And I've been sneezing my head off too. Man, I could not sleep at all last night. It was rough, and my body is just hurting so much. And then I saw, I keep talking about the joint pain and stuff. And then I saw a doctor yesterday saying, if you ever had your gallbladder removed, then you probably have these symptoms, which I had all the symptoms, of course. And I had mine removed like 40 years ago. I've been going with this shit. So sometimes it just pisses me the fuck off, man. How we've been misled. There is this horrendous story I just saw of a girl talking about her medical tyranny. It's oh my God, there's so much bullshit going on, man. But anyways, this doctor said you probably have these symptoms because, you need that gallbladder. Fucking lying motherfuckers. Why do we believe these people? Any motherfucking thing. I just can't even get these poor girls who have all injected all of this fucking shit in their face. And think about it too, is a lot of those people that were getting all those injections, they had money to get all those injections. So it's like money doesn't buy the things that we think it's gonna buy. It's temporary kind of fix. Like that's why I said, go to the universe for your wants and needs, not this money system. This money system is just this fucking game. It's like being in a game of craps or something, man. So so I feel horrible for those girls. Even Madonna, like her face is so puffed up. Christy Teigen, who's a weirdo freaking people eater, her face, oh, that's what got the conversation going, was her face, where people started being like, oh my God, because she's come out like, oh, Jesus Christ. And this pillow, it's like all this, it's weird how they put the injection stuff in, and it expands, and then their face, and then it moves, so then they put more in, so then their face just becomes this giant puff. And I would imagine it's probably really spongy too. Like, and I was thinking, because I'm always doing the lymph moving thing still. I do that all the time. And I was thinking, man, I wonder if that would do them any good, or if they could just like totally flood their system with so much toxin that it would be like detrimental to their system. Like, fuck, man. That's why I was like so relieved that my biggest insecurity mistake was just easily removed. Like, that's what I was saying, the stuff with the BBLs coming out, the stuff with the space injections. And I'm glad I got the minimum amount, man. That's another good thing. Probably I didn't stay being a nurse, because I would have had more money. I would have been getting older. And I would have probably started doing some of that shit too. Who knows? Like, they sell it, they market it like crazy. That's what was showing in that fucking movie, The Perfect People. The marketing and pressure put on to be perfect, look good. But then also it showed so well how the people just let themselves go. It's people. Like, you don't have to let yourself go. But it's like people want to get comfortable in aging. And I want to say this too, is because these people, like yesterday I got 2 people who came in and be rude, say rude comments. And, no matter what, it's always going to bother you when somebody says something rude to you. I mean, I don't know. It's going to play in your head. And that's the thing, is, see, like, these people, they don't get it. They definitely don't get what I'm talking about. Like, it's so weird too, because that just shows the side of this personality where, a couple of minutes, they've got it all figured out. They're going to tell you what they think about you. It's like, it's a kind of you're heavy in the judgment, heavy on the judgmental side. The bitterness, you got some issues that are grandpa touched your leg. Come on. Like, what's up? Because when you're going around trying to, fire at everybody else and make everybody else miserable, make people feel bad, it's because you are spinning out on self-indulgent hate of yourself or something. And so then you got to pass it out to everybody else. And judgmental and ego driven. It just blows my mind too of how many of these people, and it's always so obvious because they'll say something that I fucking talk about, and it's like, oh my God, maybe listen to a couple more videos before you try and start a conversation, like at least know what the fuck I'm talking about before you want to talk. Like, what? And then, but the thing is about these people, like, don't be a person like this, and that sounds like, hateful or something, but, as we're dissecting how this all works, if that is, you can see the energy they're putting out, that's the energy that will come back to them. And so when you're putting out hateful energy and you're going in, well, you're going to put them in their place. You're going to tell them, you're going to get them straight. And then this gaslighting thing, well, I was really concerned. I was very concerned you were having a mental health issue or something. Okay, so you couldn't go look at some other videos and see like, oh, well, she's just kind of a nut. Like, dude, gaslighting may work on your wife or something. And, maybe it's worked on you from your, like, I don't know. But yeah, grow up, be real. And at least if you're trying to be a dick, at least be honest about it. Well, I was really concerned. Like, oh my God, what a fucking joke. And and the one guy, I think it was that one, oh, she keeps staring off into space or something. Dude, if you would listen to what I'm talking about, you would know what the fuck I'm staring at. I'm staring inside my fucking mind. Like, what the fuck? And, somebody else came in then with all caps. I'm obviously on drugs. It's like, okay, so I'm all on drugs. Like, this is another one. Like, you must have listened for a while to, because I'm all about health and wellness and spiritual evolvement and I think the evolving and involvement. It is like this whole elaboration of spirituality. And I saw this guy yesterday, and this is the fucking nonsense. Don't fucking say you're spiritual just because you believe that there's a God out there. I mean, this guy goes, he was doing some video, and he goes, well, I'm spiritual, but he was going off on signs, I think. Could you imagine being that ridiculous to follow the signs? He just started breaking down all these things in spirituality and about how it is to really be spiritual, to follow a spiritual path, to take your vision off the 3D path, where all the people who, talk to you in caps to tell you you're crazy. It's like, dude, I've been told I'm been crazy for my whole fucking life, so... some of these people just prove my point. You either get what I'm talking about or you don't. You just start, And I know a lot of people are opening their minds and starting to remember. And so, yeah, you can listen to somebody like me and you can feel confirmation or peace or whatever. These other people, they're, a ways away, or they're just here to be negative forces to go against us, to help us to learn to be stronger and not be triggered by lower vibration. But the thing is, too, is when these people put out this negative energy, that's this building of karma. When you're putting out this negative energy and trying to create influence with your toxicity, that is this part where you're building this negative karmic energy where it has to be put back in balance. And I mean, people like this are all over the place. I mean, people like this are going into women's accounts who are overweight, who are trying to lose weight, and they go in to tell them they're fat. It's like, what and it's mean because they start beating these people down who are already feeling so fragile and vulnerable. And, I don't even know all of the different things they say to people. They say rude shit to people, like, go get your teeth done, to people who have uh, problems with their teeth. They'll say really rude stuff. And it's like, don't you think if somebody could go and do all that stuff that they would go and do it? Like, for real. Like, they would need you to go and tell them? Like, they didn't even know that they had a problem with their teeth until you came in to tell them. It's like, so, but there's literally been people who have, did themselves in over these kind of people. So that is, uh, I mean, what's the karmic debt there? Like, that is, what I'm trying to say. Be mindful. And they really do put out a toxic energy. And you really do become challenged to override their, like, their attack. It's like interferes like with your it is. It's like an interference in your program or something. It like creates a glitch in your program and an interference. And then you think about like, well, if the universe has you out there doing something for them, and then you have these people come in and do that, then it's like, are you going against the universe then? Are you going against this whole energy that they're creating? That seems like that's even bigger karmic debt. Like, I keep trying to say, be mindful. And then you got to really pick and choose. Like, if you think you're spiritual just because you believe there's a God out there, and I mean, I'm not really sure. Like, how, I couldn't even believe it, this guy's video. Well, I'm spiritual, except for I don't believe this and I don't believe that, and that's the stupidest thing I ever heard. Follow the signs and stuff. I was just like, oh my God, what in the wackadoo shit are you talking, dude? Why don't you explain to us what spiritual means to you? Because I'll tell you what it means to me. It means to take your vision off of the physical. The physical is the misrepresentation. You want to connect to what's real, you got to connect to what's inside of you, because that's what's real. It's weird to me how many people focus on what's not real and think it's real, and then think what's real isn't real. It's like, I don't know the disconnect that you got going, but yeah, that's weird to me. And so, and I'm not going to be judgmental and hateful. I know there's a purpose to it. There's a reason. It's not because they're idiots or their soul is lost or anything like that. It's just like, trying to understand what is all going on here. And it's trippy to see. And so I keep thinking this is going to be this all of a sudden, where your lights come on, and all of a sudden you have this certain awareness that comes into your reality or your fruition of what is real and what isn't real. It's like it spins, it flips. I just feel fortunate that I've always been able to see what isn't real and what is real. But it's easy to get caught up in the not real because everybody else is fucking in it. And when you stay out of it, then you are, some sort of strange outcast. And even when you try and question any narrative, which I've been questioning the narrative since I was young. When I was questioning hard stuff, I was going up against my mom on religion, going against the church on religion, over what, because I would say the same things to the preacher. Like, I wouldn't just to my mom. Oh, I would say the Sunday school teacher or whatever. And it was all based on what I knew inside of me, what I believed, because these beings that were talking to me, which I also had seen somebody saying this recently, that there's a lot of people who have this communication going with these this higher intelligence that started when they were kids, and the people who have this have they have usually come from abusive houses. That is what I have said, that they started talking to me when I was really little. And this is the thing that becomes so strange, like with my mom, is because, she says, uh, I've been talking to the devil the whole time. I'm always being tricked and being talking to the devil. And then, let me think for a sec. God, I'm so wheezy. They're trying to fucking kill us. Or they're trying to at least keep us super sick. Oh yeah, because I want to tell that story too. That girl. And then there was another one too that was coming into my mind. But let me see if I can finish what it was I was just saying, because then it starts being like this interference. Okay, so when my mom, with the devil, oh yeah, because then it was since the 2020, I think it was like around 2021 or 2022. I'm so lost in time. I can't even believe my license. So the she said that she was being bothered about, how did you, talking to God or whatever, how did you let this happen, to a child or whatever it was. And she got back this message that, I was never alone. I was always had angels around me and stuff like that. And and so then when she said that, I said, yeah, Mom, I told you. You've been talking to me my whole life. But then it goes straight into, I'm talking to the devil. It's so weird, this disconnect. And but anyways, I know, that there's other people, because like I've said, when you go into any kind of trauma or whatever, you're not alone. You do have, like, even my friend, who was in that wreck, who gave me that confirmation, because I had read it and read it and read it and seen so many stories about it. But she said, yeah, it was, she was 5 days or 7 days upside down in her car in a stream off the side of a mountain. And so she was, and she couldn't move or anything. She was all broken. And so she's hanging in her car or something in this stream. It might have been like singing on her side in this stream. And she just kept going in and out of it. But she said, you're not alone. Like, they're talking to you. You go into these weird kind of fantasies and dream kind of states and stuff. So it's different than how it appears to us. Like, it appears to us like trauma. But you aren't, you have these beings that are there with you that like help you and talk you through things and stuff. And they keep you with it, because you either, whatever you go or you stay, it's pre-planned. So they're either there to help you as you transition, or they're there to help you, whatever. I think some of it is, it's like a set thing. Like, to me, having my brain injury happen, and having such a serious medical thing happen that affected me for so long, it still does, that I, let me think again. I feel like there's so much interference. I did not sleep at all last night either. And my body was hurting. Oh yeah, I didn't even finish that because of the gallbladder thing. But so this doctor said to get ox bile, which sounds really atrocious, but I've got it in my cart now. Friday I get paid. I'm gonna order my stuff and I'm gonna get some and see. But hopefully that will start taking away some of these symptoms. Because we need this stuff that they tell us that we don't need. It's so annoying. And this, okay, so the, oh yeah, okay. And I don't know if I already said this, but there's this whole saga going on about this guy who says he's a werewolf, and there's a whole bunch of them, and they're, just these other species just trying to live their lives. And that the DNA test What did I had just said? He said the DNA test is, I always get these confirmations after I say something. And so it's so wild because I'll say something, go be seeing something, and then I'll say something, and then there will be confirmation of other people seeing the same things. So, anyways, it always is like, okay. But it helps me to decipher the language, the translation. And so this guy, he was saying that the DNA tests are looking for certain people, certain beings. That is what I motherfucking have been saying the whole time. It's not just for our entertainment. It's not just so we can hook up with some relatives that we don't know. No, they are looking for something. And then these people are selling information and stuff. And one guy was doing this thing about the Wall Street crash, and he was like, this is so ridiculous. It's 3 fucking corporations that own every motherfucking thing. And we're going to sit here, like, it's them crashing. Like, fuck off with that shit. So, anyways, but just, I don't know. It was just confirmation all the time out there. And, but I knew that there was something about the DNA, and I don't know what it is that they can pick up on in any of us, because we all have, like they're looking, how I kept seeing it too, was that they were looking for certain ones that maybe were going to be more developed in certain ways, because then they thought that they could stop the awakening somehow by going after these certain beings. So it could be that they can recognize something, like if you're from Syria or something, or the Pleiades or whatever. So if you got a lot of DNA structure inside of you from some of these home spaces, then they can recognize it, and then they know like what you're here to do, and so they're trying to interfere. See, that's the kind of thing, is what I think, that they go after some of these people. And this there's a lot of people up on that saga. There was another there was a couple of sagas going on. There was that one. There's one, I think. There's a lot of bad fucking kid things again. Like, God damn. Oh my God. Some of this stuff is so, gosh, so outrageous. This guy, this young girl gets pregnant by this guy. She's responsible, and she's going to school and stuff, and she's trying to get a job. She gets an apartment. I think she gets a job. She wants to go to school for something medical or something, and she gets a job at the pharmacy. So then she gets an apartment. So her and her little boy, who's a toddler, move into this apartment. She's like 19 years old or something. And then the guy who knocked her up, who wants to be a rapper, who he comes and just moves in. So he just takes up space in her home. And then he turns around, and her family's trying to get a hold of her after his 21st birthday. So he had his 21st birthday. She gave him a big old party and everything. And this guy doesn't work, doesn't do anything. And then her family was calling her. I think it was the next morning, and she wasn't answering, she wasn't answering, she wasn't answering. So they go over, they find her in a pool of blood with 100 stab wounds at least, in the bathroom, dead, of course. And then the little baby's nowhere to be found. So then a couple days later, they find him over by his mom's house, because the police went to go talk to him. He's, I'm getting a lawyer. I'm not talking to you. Then, and this is in Florida, I think. Then she lives out by a waterway of some sort that has a lot of big gators in it. And somebody's out by the thing and sees a big gator with something in his mouth. So whole thing, get it out of his mouth, the rescue, whatever goes on. They get it out, and it's the kid. It's the baby. Now they're saying that they can't even tell if he was thrown into the gators alive or dead. Like, it's just like, ah, damn. What in the hell was some of these people like? It's like, what dark negative energy is inside of your head to disconnect you from empathy, even for your own toddler? Like, oh my God, damn. So, I mean, you got like all these soul things playing out. And you got to remember, that these are like a bunch of stories or movies playing out around us. There's the micro and the macro. So all these little stories are the creation of all these stories for the universe. And one thing too is to remember that they don't look like at it as a positive or negative. They look at it as, like a possibility. Well, this is an outcome. This is what can happen. It's more like that. It isn't like good or bad. It's more of like these are the things that happen. And so there's repercussions to things, like there's repercussions, having somebody who treats you horribly as your partner, and people are learning that on all different levels. It's not just one level of that, it's like the whole broad spectrum. And so that is what the universe appreciates, is the spectrum. It's like I said, they are always looking at every possibility. They always want every possibility. So, and also you gotta remember, like, these roles. It's like a it's like a it's like a snowflake, like I said, being formed. But it's like the snowflake is already the template, and so then the soul comes in to like color it in. So it's like the story's written, but then we give it life. And so the roles that you come in and play have to do with the roles that you have played. It's like it all goes together. And so, and it's all necessary to give these spectrums of understanding, even though you can get caught up in your head and think, well, you would learn it all in one life. But that's not how it is, because you're on the soul's journey. You're not, this is why I keep saying this is an illusion to think this is real life. Your real life is so much bigger. This is just a tiny snippet. And so this other girl's story I wanted to tell too, because she's doing this thing, holding her hands up, and she's saying, put a finger down if you've had this. There's a whole bunch of people doing these things. But the thing is that her fingers are so jacked up. They look like they're super skinny, for one thing. So they look like kind of skinny, like, and then they're all like turned and distorted in these like, I was like, oh my God, that would be so uncomfortable. So she's got these like fingers, and so she's making it clear, she's trying to show. So obviously this has to do with this bullshit. And she's very young. Like, I don't know. I would say she's definitely below 30. And she, very attractive girl. And she's, her story. So she went and I don't remember what it was her first symptom, but she goes in and then she finds out she has a tumor on her back. So they say, oh, well, we're going to just take that thing out. It'll be real quick and easy. You'll be in and out of the hospital real quick. Heard that before. So she goes in, and her surgery ends up being more complex, more complicated. She's in surgery for 20 hours. That turns into a couple years of, I just can't even believe how many surgeries she's had now, how many infections. There was one point, and they even damaged her esophagus, and her esophagus was open and leaking out and creating an infection in her back. That took like 3 or 4 surgeries to do that. It's just like every complication, everything that they do creates another thing. And it seems like she was on the verge of dying. Like, it was so crazy how many surgeries and how many infections. And one of the times it was something where her hand stopped working. I don't remember. So I'm sure that that's what happened to her hands. And she couldn't speak. She had to go back and learn how to speak, and a whole bunch of things, learn how to swallow. I was just like, from this little thing that was just going to be this quick and easy thing. Now she's 3 years in, and it seems that she's saying that she's more on the mend now, that she's been going up, but I mean, she's still got a ways to go because her fingers didn't look like they could function right. So, because you wouldn't have them all turned and tipped weird ways. So, she's still got things ahead of her. And some of these other young people I've seen where they go in and they say, well, you've got colon cancer. So they're going to remove their colon, remove their anus, remove every motherfucking part of them inside. Which, one thing too, is I had just learned when I was in Spokane, and my mom, I think, was asking something about Petey, her dog who had died. And I had talked about this a while back because he had gotten the diagnosis of cancer. And I tried to get her to do, the natural, but she went with the medical. This is something that this is happening for so many people. And so she it did the medical, and they removed his thing, which they had said his surgery was on, or his tumor was on one thing, but then it ended up being on something else or something. And so I think it was they removed his spleen. But when you remove something, it creates space. And so then the space that was created, it ended up causing bloat. So it's this side effects, the repercussions of these treatments that they give is what ends up killing us. And so when you think of, like, they remove all your guts and stuff, all your intestines, like, this is your intestinal space. Like, your intestines are just in there, just whipping back and forth all around, because that is this filtering system that we have inside of us. If we're going to go talk about flesh and blood, this filtering system that is inside of us, and it absorbs the nutrients of the food as it goes through your system. And there's a whole way that your system works, like this domino effect. And so that is why, there's such a tax on our gut health. But then when you sit there and you say you're going to remove all that, what the hell is there? And some of these people, like a lot of people who end up having a lot of gut health, like colitis and stuff like that, Crohn's, they will be usually really skinny, because they don't get enough absorption, so the food just goes right through them, right through them, right through them. And especially if they've had any kind of treatments, sometimes with people with Crohn's and stuff, they have to get these dissections. They'll get pieces of their bowel removed when they get too ulcerated, or that is with Crohn's, with colitis, ulcerative colitis, and it will become so diseased that they have to take out these parts where it is so inflamed and red and stuff. And, when you just think of, like, the natural things that you can do, and it's the food and the toxins that are attacking, that is, we just have to look at our bodies in a new way. So this, so the, but if you're going to take out all of that stuff, and the person is, overweight, and so they have, like, fat there, and then they don't realize how much, because even on my thing, like right where my gallbladder was, there is a spot that sinks in right there. Nothing comes in and fills that space up. It just kind of sinks in. So, what will happen to their, like, it seems like quite a deformity, doesn't it, in somebody's body, to remove all their stuff and then everything to collapse on that part of their body. The same thing is where they're adding this stuff that doesn't belong there with this BBL, and they're causing these problems. Like, I think there's going to be bigger problems with this stuff. This Dr. Frankenstein world, and you go and you hear these different people saying their stories and stuff. The whole thing is they're practicing on us the whole time. I've said this and said this and said this. We're nothing but lab rats to them. And Dr. Frankenstein, weirdo, old sci-fi, crazy doctor, or a scientist that wants to destroy the world kind of movie we're in. Like, there's definitely this certain aspect of it is this old sci-fi horror, is they put this in all these old sci-fi horrors. There's so many doctors keeping people down in their basements and doing all these surgeries and stuff. Just that's all they want to do, is just practice on us. And it was really creepy too on that Perfect People when they're talking to the surgeons and stuff. They're such salesmen. And it was like, oh my God. It is like this big sell on us. And then there's always the gaslighting attack you on, well, science knows and science smarter, and and that is like, oh my God. All of that has been such an illusion, such a misnomer or something. It's all been just lies to trick us, to get us to submit. So yeah, you're having the gallbladder attack. It's the worst thing you've ever experienced in your life. And then they say, oh, well, that's just a little thing. Like, it even makes you wonder, what's the deal with the appendix? Like, how many of those have they ripped out, and the people really probably needed them too? Yeah, it's so weird because there is things, where they do rupture and people do die and stuff. But I mean, we drive cars all the time and we don't die every time we do, but lots of people die driving them. So it's whatever's supposed to take you out, it's going to take you out. And when it's not meant to take you out, it's not going to take you out. And it's like we're basing things on other people's reality. Like, well, it happened to them. We gotta be careful. It might happen to us. I think it's just added into your awareness, but that you need to also know that everything that happens for everybody is happening for them. It's not just, to taunt you, like, oh, that could happen to me. Because nothing can happen to you that's not meant to happen to you. Everything that is going to happen to you is pre-planned. It's meant to happen to you. And like I've said, you come into the role. You step into the role. You know what the role is before you step into it. And so you go into it because for you, it is putting things back into balance, which, I just got another kind of view of the bully kind of people, is the okay, because it's kind of hard. Yeah, so if the bullying beats you down, then that's one set of circumstance, that's one energy. But if it builds you up and it makes you stronger, that is like a whole nother set of circumstance. So then that would be like good karma. So then that would be like, that's weird, because it's like it's transmutation. It's like you're transmuting energy for somebody who, by all appearances, is a stranger, but every stranger that interacts with you is meant to. It's all pre-planned. It was always somebody. And then to me, it seems like when you are making your templates, like these groups that you come in with, that you are in the same vibration as that group. So that's a strange thing too. So it is kind of like, well, it's almost like, well, it's up to the receiver then what your karmic debt is. Well, it is kind of up to the receiver. It's up to how things play out. If things go out of balance, then you have to put things back into balance. There's cause and effect. Everything that you do causes a reaction. And if it's like your soul is trying to stay balanced. It's trying to stay centered in a balancing. And it's easy, like, to me, like going into these this game, it's easy to get you out of balance. That is what I think that we're seeing so much of. And this is like we're seeing the aftermath of being out of balance, is this chaos, this disconnect, this obvious way that people have disconnected from their truth, from who they are. and how vital it is to reconnect. And plus it's vital because you don't go on. I mean, if you want to go on in this storyline, if you don't want to go on in this storyline, then you're probably not going on in this storyline. And, you know, you don't need to worry about that. But for people who do have this fire inside of them, of you know, it's in there. So that is, you know, you trying to find the information to feed the fire that's burning inside of you, so that you can, you know, make sense of what's happening to you. And in that process, that is this becoming more, you know, mindful and more connected, so that you can move through this energy as it's going. But there's lots of people who won't raise their vibration to go forward, you know, and it's going to be for all different reasons. So we can't just sit there and say, well, they're all just stupid people and they're all just this or that. Like, it's it's going to be a variety, I think. It's going to be a variety of people, and it's going to be deeper. Like, we got to quit looking at things on the surface. There's deeper. Like I said, like, this is a segment in your soul's journey. So the deeper story is the soul's journey. The more you connect to your soul and to understand your soul's journey, you know, which you have to go into these vague spaces of trying to, you know, trust the information that's coming to you on like past lives and stuff. And they come in like these snippets and segments and stuff also. So then that can also be less like, okay, that's weird and it doesn't make any sense and stuff like that. But you got to think about how you feel. It could be something that's just trying to help you walk through something. So you want to give the things that seem strange and, you know, extraordinary out. You want to give it more time, more of your focus, because there's a reason why it's coming in. And that's what's so weird when you these people spiritual, like disconnected from that. Like, there's a reason. Like, spirituality is way more than just like believing that the universe exists or something. Like, spirituality is this walk. It's walking towards you in a place where everything is trying to control you and tell you you're broken, something's wrong with you. And you go through this period of trying to, you know, fix it and be better and try and be what other people want. And to the point where all of a sudden it's like, this is pointless. It's like, as soon as you please one, you get another one coming up. You know, you can't please everybody. There's no way. The only person that you can really please is yourself. And that's becoming more accepting of yourself, learning how to love yourself and accept yourself and be okay with who you are. That's the challenge, that the spiritual challenge of coming into a place to remain you and your growth and what you're doing here, to always be looking at the bigger picture, the more reason of why things happen, the purpose behind living and life and what you're doing and the whole thing. And it's looking into it more, trying to understand it more. And there is a communication. They do talk in signs and signal and signs and stuff like that. That and you do have to be a part of watching the signs and being tuned in to the signs. And this guy was even trying to make a point on the politics. Like, why in the world would, I don't know, if some politician was saying something about following the signs or something, because I'm not following their bullshit. But, you know, how ridiculous. Can you imagine a politician is going to tell us that we're going to follow the signs? Maybe that's what we need. That's what we need. You know, some that are connected, go sit in meditation, ask for communication, get their signs. You know, it's like the way that we're living is very three-dimensional, very self-indulgent, you know, always wanting more, trying to get more. I have something on the stove and it's driving me crazy. So hold on, I gotta go check and see if it's burning. Some days I cook a lot of stuff. Like I cook a lot of dog food and so it's a lot of cooking. And then I start early, so but it's okay. But let me think, because there was oh yeah, because there was an earthquake, another earthquake, like a 5.7 or something. I don't know if this was Bakersfield or if that was LA, but there's more. I think that they're building up the earthquakes, because that's the part of the earth resetting, the earth moving around, that things like the earthquakes, the volcanoes, I mean, you can't even say the hurricanes, because they're doing some kind of interference to make storms bigger and worse. And somebody was saying that this attack on Florida right now, this weird storm that they have, because it's no longer considered a hurricane, but it's just like stuck over them or something, with this brutal storm going. And I saw a video saying that this is the real that is attacking the Mar-a-Lago thing. And so I don't know. There's definitely attacks going on that, you know, are above our pay grade. You know, we don't know all this stuff that's going on. But and that, you know, would be something. They're attacking each other with weather machines now. Oh my God, damn. The technology and the frequency is so loud, and everything looks so weird. Oh my, I was about to say, oh my God, it got so much more foggier, but I think it's the steam too. I looked out my window, I was like, oh my God, it looks like a werewolf's coming here. But I think it's the steam, but it still is really foggy outside. And I have a headache, and I just don't feel good at all. I slept, like, I think I went to sleep like around 8, and then woke up at 11:30. And then I was like up for so long. And then I think around 3, I think I fell back asleep like from 3 to like 4:30. I was like, oh my God. But, you know, I mean, we're just right back to heading into winter here. It's like, fuck, it's cold, and it's not like super cold right now, but it's still, you can feel the chill in the air beginning to be, which just gets me right into the, you know, I gotta get wood. Am I gonna be here all winter again? You know, and that is the other thing too, like when I'll start going into these kind of like panic mode, then there's always like the voice of reason that comes in. What is meant for you will come to you. You don't have to sit and worry and stress, and you project so much. And in projection, you also create expectation. And so that is a big part where I keep trying to not create expectation, because creating expectation creates disappointment. And just being in the flow of the universe and letting them bring to you what is meant for you, and trusting. And so, but it's difficult, like when everything is going wrong, to trust that things are going to start going good. And but that is what, you know, that's our challenge. And that is where things are going to turn around. And we do have all these governments, they're going down, and people are going against their governments. And there is more people who are starting to really see through this created civil war thing that they've created. And they always get, you know, let's put in the 2 opposing poles, let's put in 2 opposing colors, let's get them to go against each other. Let's give these ones all the power, let's take the power away from these ones. It's always this, but they're playing games, you know. And well, like I've said, we gotta all go out and get together, you know, and quit going against the other people who are being attacked. We're all being attacked together. So, you know, it's not the other poor people who are out to get us. They're all just trying to survive and trying to make sense of it and think like if they get somebody else in the office and things will get better. But it's all just a big bullshit thing. It's just a way to have control over us. So we don't want any of it. We don't want any of them in the office. We want them all gone. We'll create our own cities and towns, our own officials. We don't need these money-hungry, hateful, money grubbers, too. They're just so, it's always weird when there starts being weird noises out here. Like it's not common for people to pull up and honk out here like it is in the city. Hearing sirens, hearing like there's so many planes yesterday. It already started this morning. There's so many planes going over, and then there starts being these weird sounds, and where I'll have to sit and listen, and I'll think, like, is this something in the mountains? Is this something in the streets going through the valley, driving, making weird sounds? Like, I don't know. It's very strange right now. And everything looks strange. Everything just looks weird to me. Everything feels weird. Everything looks weird. And it's very much of trying to keep yourself grounded into a world that is falling apart just to be a part of the world that's coming after. It's like, because you got to really stay in this point of observation, because it's not helpful to disregard, to ignore the things. The things are coming up for a purpose, and that purpose is to heal and to shed this old part of ourselves. So ignoring it and trying to hide from it, like any of the stuff that's coming up for you, any old childhood memories, anything, like it's going to keep replaying. You know, things that you don't like, something you did when you were a kid, and you're just like, oh, horrified. I can't even believe I did that. And these are all things for you to process through. And as uncomfortable it is, you just got to go in deeper into it. And it will be uncomfortable. It's not comfortable to look at yourself like this, but it's the only way to heal yourself. And it's not like you can take these things away or something, but you can understand yourself. So you can see your motivation. You can start to understand, you know, like your damage, why you do the things you do. And being able to go in and look at these things and understand yourself is how you're able to heal yourself, how you're able to just be like, oh, well, I always, you know, I have this natural response. I just, when somebody does this, I do that. Then you're able to, you start noticing these things, noticing your patterns and noticing so you can make changes. And you start stepping up the game. You stop letting people who don't treat you right be around you. That's the sad thing about there's so many people who are being treated so bad. There's another weird fucking video that everybody's talking about too, is there's some girl and she did some kind of video where she was like, she just killed her cousin and her cousin's 2 kids or something. I think that there was some more people, as she said. But she said she was fixing to go turn herself in, but she wants to just, you know, tell her side of the story or something. And I saw this one guy who was really funny, who was saying like how we're in our society, how have we gotten to this point? You're going to go do this, but your first thing is I'm going to go on TikTok and talk about it. And you know what, how do you think that's going to benefit you? You're still going to prison. You could be still going to death penalty. Like, what is the point? Like, it's so bizarre. That's the thing that's so bizarre, is this disconnect that people have through thought process, through thinking. Is there needs to be this connection, this connection to your soul. And you know, another thing that's interesting is there's way more now about this stuff with the heart. Your heart is not what they told you. And your heart is one singular thing, and it is a pump that is for your filter system. So it's, I don't even know. You can go in and listen to these people, but there's one video I saw, is you can unroll your heart. It unrolls. It isn't. It's very trippy. So it just unrolls, and it has these valve. I don't know. It's very trippy. So, you know, but there's going to be more and more of this stuff coming out, because, you know, I mean, they lied to us about what this is, because it's not flesh and blood. It's something different. And, you know, we've got to figure out how it all works here. and we've been misled. And so it's complex, because there is a sense of the physicality, and as far as what I understand, it's a representation to give you something to understand of what it is you're working on. And, so if it's something like you hate your face, and you look at everybody else, you're working on insecurities, you're working on different things. So that is, there's something that your body's telling you, like when it's sick, it's showing you that you're not working on something, you're not healing something, you're not taking care of yourself. So everything is this to show us, but and I know it's a filter thing, as you think about how the universe works. I was thinking about how the body works, and that is how the universe works. But everything is this filtering. It is this micro macro thing, and so you do have this filtering pump system. But see, they try and interfere with it by giving us a representation that is limiting, and then it also to be poisoning it and trying to turn the frequency down. Like, they're messing with it and creating a lot of confusion. But that is going to be this big part, and I see it coming with all of the people who are changing, all of this change that is occurring as people begin to say, no, you're not going to tell me what to do. No, you don't have a say over me. And we're all standing here together saying no. And so that is this energetic change that creates all of this change. And it is because it's like the opportunities there, which creates the domino to go, which creates the people to look at things differently, which creates the energy to change on the planet, which creates all of this chaos, which creates all of this, the illusion dissolving, which is, in the micro macro, there's the firmament, the ice wall, everything, everything that has been holding us into the lie is all going away. But it's us who want more. It's us who create the change. I mean, the change was always going to be created. It was always going to go. And all these people that keep saying, well, it's we got to see what happens today. We could go on either timeline. We could go here. We could go there. No, the only thing I see about a timeline differential is you're either on the one where you don't like yourself and the universe is out to get you, or you're on the one where you love yourself and you're in sync with the universe. And all possibilities, which to me, when I see all possibilities are available, but we're all playing all possibilities. So it's all the possibilities are being played. And so, yeah, there is a thing like, well, if I just went there and I turned right instead of left, all these people are constantly thinking, that you can change things just by, do I get up now or do I get up in 5 minutes? Everything changes everything. Nothing. You're not changing things like that. It's all the different possibilities are playing out, and you're not changing the one that you're on by doing that. You're changing your it's by your own attitude, and that has to do more with your time in space, how productive it was for you. How did you use your time? Did you use it to, because there's still lessons, even if you're here and you're hating yourself and you're miserable and you're just a victim and stuff, there's still lessons. You're still going to go to your life review and have a whole, thing that you're going to see. You learned a lot of stuff. So there's no fail. You can't fail at this. You can't mess up. The only thing is, I think that people need to be more mindful of the energy that they put out, because there is repercussions. In putting out hateful energy, you're going to pull hateful energy towards you. So be mindful of how you talk to people, and and judging people that you've known for 2 minutes, and you're just boom, boom, judge, quick draw McGraw, got my judgment coming. Is somebody who's got so much judgment coming at other people. They're heavy on judgment on themselves because they don't like themselves. And that's the part where, they're spreading their hate. It's not enough to hate themselves. They got to make everybody else miserable too. And that's why we don't want to be feeding into their misery, and we got to be able to disconnect. But then you also You know, there's all sorts of challenges associated with these people when they come in and bully and they say mean things. And so it's just, you know, but they're also going to be faced hard with themselves. And there's going to be a lot of these kinds of people who are these hateful people who are going to be the ones that are going to do themselves in, because when they have to face it, they're going to be so disgusted with themselves. They're going to be so, it's going to seem like it's too much to overcome, to face how hateful you are and then where your hate comes from. Because that's the part where, you know, people want to distract themselves. They just want to get drunk. I don't want to think about that. I don't want to think about when I was a kid and this and when I did that and I did this at that slumber party and, you know, the things that eat people up inside. Then that is the things you have to face. Because there's reasons that they're there. There's reasons there's reasons for everything. And the dogs are starting to get on the move. It's so weird how time just, and I'm sure Stella's going to be putting pressure on me. Let's hurry and go walk. Everything is always like Stella's time. It's always on Stella's time. Let's go and do this. Well, I want it now. Well, I want it now. Girl. So anyways, you know, today's Wednesday, so we'll see what this hump day brings us. But you know, I personally would appreciate the economy crashing next weekend or this coming weekend, because I get paid Friday and I'd like to run to the store and get some stuff before the thing all goes down. So we'll see. However it goes, it's going to go. And it could drag out another couple weeks. I don't think it's going to keep going for much longer. It's got to be going. We've got to get this show on the road, because it's getting too close to the deadline. And they've got so much up in the air. There's so many balls in the air. So things are going to have to start going. And they've got so much going with their World War III expectation. And this person's going to blow this person up. And this person's going to heading over with their bomb. It's just like a lot of drama. And however it goes down, if that's how they're going to do it, then, you know, whatever. Whatever's to come is coming. So just remember what you're doing here. And that is learning how to love yourself, how to love everyone. Some people have a hard time with that. But learning how to love yourself, which a lot of people have a hard time with that. Learn how to love yourself, because then you can love everyone. So learn how to love yourself, love everyone, and how to have a loving day, because it's up to you, like I said. So I'll talk to you later. Bye.